So the power of sales listings in Toronto has been increasing and they are at all-time high. In today's video, we're going to talk about the current scenario of power of sales listings in Toronto real estate market. And I'm also going to talk about how as a buyer you can find those. And thirdly, I'm going to give you my take on power of listings and I'm going to share, is it truly worth buying those and are they truly a steal deal in today's time? So if you get any value out of this content, please hit the like button. Also, please do subscribe to the channel. Now let's talk about that. So here on the screen, you can see the chart for power of sales and you can see the power of sales has been increasing consistently over the years and it has creeped up and it's all-time high in 2025. I also just want to highlight how the media pulls up the headlines. So just let's check out these headlines. Globe and Mail says number of GTA homes being taken over their lenders is skyrocketing. And the second one, Financial Post says distressed home sales surge in Toronto. So I agree. The power of sales have been increasing. Let's say in the year of 2025, as mentioned earlier, we are sitting at 400, around 450 power of sales. And in 2024, let's say we were sitting at about 200 power of sales. So that's a increase of 100%. So I totally agree. The power of sales have been increasing. But at the same time, the 450 power of sales is not a huge number in my opinion. Reason being because as of today in Toronto, we are sitting at 11,000 active listings, which includes freehold and as well as condo listings both. So basically there are 11,000 properties which are currently listed on market. So in comparison to that, I don't think this is a huge number, but at the same time, I'm not saying that we should be ignorant of this number, 450 power of sales. If this number keeps creeping up, then it's definitely worrisome and it's definitely a red flag, but we'll have to keep an eye out and see how the situation pans out. So now I'm going to talk about what the power of sale is real quick. So it's basically legal process that allows the bank to sell the property when the owner has missed the mortgage payments. Pretty simple. It also says the lender does not take ownership. They only have the right to sell the home. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how you can find power of sale listings. So now how to find a power of sales. So as a consumer, you can just Google it and you can come across a couple of websites, but in my opinion, those websites are not so reliable. So I'm not going to talk about those on this video. And because reason being is because power of sale is a bit tricky to find those. And as a real estate agent also, we have to manually find these listings on our system. It's not just like we just on a click of a button we can get access to those. So here I'm going to show as a real estate agent there are two approaches to find power of sales. First is that we look at the brokerage remark. Brokerage remark is a section on the listing for just for brokers, and there sometimes they mention power of sales. Not sometimes, majority of the time they do mention power of sales. So in the filter we can put power of sales and we can find these listings. Second approach is that on the seller name we can look for by the name of the bank. That is, for example, Bank of Montreal is mentioned over here, so we can find these listings. So I'm going to show you these listings. So I've already done a search under the name or under the filter of power of sales, and here I come across listings which are 55 listings. You can see, let me just put myself down here, and here you can see there are 55 active power listings which are available in Toronto, and most of them you can see are in downtown Toronto. That goes to show because mostly condos, and those are being sold as power of sales. And we can also notice some of them are on the east end of the city right over here, and if we go on the west end, there's not much available, and also not much available in North Toronto, that is Midtown Toronto. There's not many power of sales available over there, which is pretty interesting to see. Now I'm going to do the second search, that is by the name of the bank, and here you can see there are about 39 active listings which are power of sales, and these are mostly in downtown Toronto again, and then a few on the east end and few on the west end as well, but not much available in North Toronto, that is Midtown Toronto over here. And also just a heads up, this data what I just pulled up, when I say data, is the number of power of sales which I just pulled up, might not be 100% accurate because I've not pulled out I've not considered the type B lenders. So of course that power of sales the number of power of sales are going to be higher than what we just pulled up. I just wanted to give you that heads up. So now I'm going to address to the question, $1 million question, that are power of sales a steal deal in the market or not? So I'm going to show you one example first, and then I'm going to talk about this more. So here, this one listing, you can see 55 Bremner Boulevard, Unit 3302. It's a condo in downtown Toronto, just by Scotiabank Arena. This sold for $530,000, and this was a power of sale. And this was sold on 17th of September. Okay, keep this in mind. And now I'm going to show you one more listing or comparable. This is exact same unit in the same building, 1202 on a lower floor. That's okay. And this was sold one day prior to the power Power listing, which I just showed on 16th of September, was sold for $520,000. Sure, it's on a lower floor and this was tenanted. That's why it sold for less. But at the same time, the example I just showed, 3302, was a power of sale and still it sold for $530,000. So sure, you do get deals in power of sales, but not every time. For example, I just showed you the 3302. I don't think so the buyer got a deal when they bought it for $530,000, but it depends. Now many variables come into play, and it depends from property type to property type as well, and many instances or what situation the bank is or the seller is, and as well as the buyer is. So many variables come into play in order to get a deal. So now let's talk about if power of sales are truly worth it. If you're getting a decent discount as a buyer on the purchase price, then it can be worth it, because as a buyer, you're also taking out on some risk, because power of sale deals include certain clauses which not many buyers will be comfortable with. I helped a buyer recently, and there were a few clauses which were inserted by the lender, and I'm going to show you those ones right now, and let's talk about those. So first clause was, if the current owner, the owner they're talking about is the defaulter or the owner who has made the default on the mortgage payments. So if the current owner is able to bring their mortgage back into good standing, then the lender reserves the right to automatically cancel your purchase transaction and return your deposit. So let's say a week before the closing, the current owner is able to make the start making mortgage payments, then the deal is null and void, and you will get the deposit back, and you will not get that house or a condo. Okay. Number two, no warranties are typically provided about the sale of the property, whether it contains harmful materials or whether there are unauthorized changes made to the unit without condo's consent. You will have to rely on getting your own inspection and to confirm there are no issues with the state of the property and that is in compliance with condominium requirements. So any problems or which anything has been done which is not with the consent of the condo board, they are not responsible for that. Third was, likewise, there's no guarantee of any appliances unit or will be in the working order on closing. So you get the keys as a buyer and this the dishwasher is not working, or let's say any appliances are not working, or even a day prior to closing, let's say something's not working, you're on the hook as a buyer. The sellers or the lender has no responsibility for that. So overall, I think it does come with some risk, but as a whole, if you're getting a decent discount, then it's totally worth it. In my opinion, if you're looking for deals, I would look for a motivated seller and maybe a tenanted property. Tenanted property also come with huge risk, so that's a story for another day. I wouldn't. Sorry, I take my word back. But but in my opinion, I would suggest if you're looking for a steal deal, try to find a seller who's super motivated. That's my 2 cents over here, but it really depends from situation to situation. I hope I was able to give you some value today. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.